Okay guys, Scott with Heritage Farms. Hey, we're going to do a special video today. We are going to talk about what equipment is needed for a small hobby pecan orchard. You can see guys, we have roughly 150 trees planted on 8 acres. So we consider ourselves to be a little hobby orchard. This orchard is about 10 or 11 years old. So you need a couple of things. The first thing you need is a good side-by-side because let's face it, there's always running around, you're picking up trash, debris, fixing sprinkler heads. We use a Kubota RTV XG850 side-by-side. Say that 5 times in a row. All right guys, the other thing that you're gonna need a good zero-turn lawnmower. You gotta keep the lanes mowed clean. And when you get ready to harvest, you can't harvest in tall grass. Let's face it, it's almost impossible to find the nuts on the ground. So you need to mow very, very close to the ground. Also, you need a good backpack blower. We use a Badger backpack blower, and just a great product. And the reason you need the blower is you come through here and after you mowed the lanes, you can not only use the mower to push the leaves and the grass out of the lanes so that you got a nice clean lane, but you can also use the backpack blower to blow any leaves out of the way. So let me show you the first generation of what we used. So the first generation, we used a bag of nut 36-inch pull behind. And this thing actually did a great job for us. And if the conditions were just right, it was excellent. You had 2 baskets that you could come up here. You could see the baskets come off and you could go dump the baskets in something else for harvest. But this is intended for more, you know, the farm that has just a few trees, not a very big orchard. And you know, it's got some plastic on it. It's not designed for industrial or heavy usage. You would use this more or less for maybe a small 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 acre orchard where you just had a few trees to knock out. Does a great deal. The problem, and I shouldn't say problem, it's just something to be aware of. It's center pull. So this has got to, basically you can connect this to a riding mower, a side-by-side, 4-wheeler, whatever your product of choice. The problem is you're pulling directly behind the motor or the ATV. And in that case, if the ground is soft, the ATV or the lawnmower may push the nuts in the ground, and then therefore the tines will not pick it up. So a little bit of a limitation. You can also pull this. Hey, if you're strong, you can just manually pull this. It's kind of like a CrossFit workout. A lot of people pay big money for that. Kind of the Tom Sawyer approach to getting some help in the orchard. But let me show you the major upgrade. All right, guys, this right here is the premium upgrade. This is the 42-inch Bag o' Nut Pro Harvester. And notice some things immediately. Notice the offset hitch. The hitch is also much more substantial than the hitch on the 36-inch pull behind. So a couple of things about the 42-inch, which makes it so much more industrial. First off, you notice, of course, I just mentioned the offset. So now you can pull this on your 4-wheeler. The 4-wheeler's not running over the nuts. It's not cracking the nuts. It's not burying the nuts in the mud. You got a nice clean surface. But to make that work, your orchard has to have nice lanes. So that goes back to the lawnmower, the power blower, and trying to get everything ready. Because you want that thing to have a clean surface, and the less sticks and trash and leaves you pick up, it's just easier to harvest. A couple of things about this 42-inch Pro. Look at this, how it's got the collapsible crates, which is just awesome. It fills up 2 crates. You notice it's got a little cover over it so nothing slings over the front. Sometimes on this guy, if you were going a little bit too fast, it might actually throw the nuts over the top. The little baffle on here is going to keep that from happening. The other thing on the 42-inch, it's got actual grease fittings. Those are run flat tires. It has a bar so that when you get to the end of a row, you can flip the bar over and it raises the tines off the ground. So when I move from one lane to another lane, I'm not picking up all of the grass and the debris and everything. So that was a limitation on the 36-inch pull behind, and I apologize for my shadow, is that you have no way of lifting it up. So when you move it from point A to point B, it's actually running across the ground and picking up trash, debris, and it had a tendency to get clogged up in there and you'd have to stop and clean it out. So a little bit of a not a little bit, major improvement going to the 42-inch Pro. Also, once again, 42-inch Pro is all metal frame. You got a little bit of plastic involved. Just different uses. It's kind of like having different tools in your toolbox. Sometimes you need a Phillip, sometimes you need a flathead. But I love this 42-inch Pro. Looking forward to putting it to work. We're right in the middle of a drought here in Texas. Our pecans have not started dropping yet. The leaves have not fell off the trees, which is kind of a shocker. So we are trying to get ready. But I have a feeling in the next couple of weeks, it's gonna be time. So, what else do we use? Four-wheeler. Once again, the four-wheeler is great. We use a Honda Rubicon. We think it's just one of the most reliable pieces of equipment there is. And we use it for several things. A, riding around looking at the pecans. It's also got a lower clearance than the side-by-side. So when you're trying to get underneath the trees, we'll also use this Rubicon to actually pull the 42-inch Pro. And also we use the Rubicon to run around and fix sprinkler heads, because at the base of each one of our trees, we have a micro sprinkler. Sometimes the hogs get in here and knock them off. Sometimes they just break. And so we use this for a lot of sprinkler repair. Now, let me show you also, I don't know if you guys can tell, but we're big fans of Bag of Nut. We also use their Stab-A-Pro. I call it Stab-A-Pro. Actually, they call it Stab-A-Nut, I believe, but it's a great way that you can actually come through here and pick up pecans one by one, just doing a little hand pickup work, if you will. The other thing we use as far as equipment, New Holland 5060. Not saying you need a tractor this big, but we utilize this for a couple of reasons. Right now we're in the middle of a drought, so you can see we got a water tote on the front, and we're spot watering some of these trees. Not to mention we don't have water for the cattle, so we're having to water cattle with that. We also use this, a couple of other pieces of equipment that I did not put in this video, but we also have a mist sprayer that goes on the back of the tractor for spraying the trees with zinc. So that's just some of the equipment that's needed to harvest pecans. So if you're a small pecan guy, or you're thinking about putting in an orchard, hopefully this video is helpful. It will give you some insight as far as some of the equipment that we use. But the one thing I'm going to make a strong recommendation on is definitely go out and check out Bag of Nut. I think it's www.baganut.com. Check them out. Contact Silas or over there and just tell them, hey, Scott with Heritage Farms sent you. But can't say enough about their equipment. We're going to have some upcoming videos that show this 42-inch Harvest Pro at work. And we're probably still going to use this 36-inch pull behind also. I just feel like there's a lot of good options and use for that. We may actually run it in tandem. We may actually put the 36-inch behind the 42, because you can see there is a little connector to do that. All right, guys. Hope this video is helpful. As always, leave us a comment. Costs you absolutely nothing. Hit the thumbs up. Tell us what you think. Love to hear what equipment you use in your orchard. Would also love to know what you feel like is the tipping point when you should actually go to something more commercial. I just don't think my orchard is going to fit the bill for heavy duty, expensive pecan harvesting equipment. Some of that equipment could be in excess of $100,000. And I think Bag of Nut has a solution for orchards our size. So guys, as always, glory be to God. Thanks for watching.